welcome back to Milwaukee. The triplets just had an epic comeback over the three-headed monsters, and we're lucky enough to be joined by Clyde Drexler, the commissioner of the Big Three. Now, the first year you were coach of the Power, now commissioner. How has your job progressed since you've been involved in Big Three?
Well, Jenny, this is the third year. First year I coached, second year I was commissioner, and commissioner this year. But what Jeff Quantnitz and Ice Cube have done has been incredible. They are visionaries. This game is so popular all around the country. Everywhere we go, we sell out, and the games are so competitive. As you just saw, Joe Johnson put on a show.
That was quite the show, and as you mentioned, it's grown in popularity. How have you seen the level of talent grow throughout the years?
Every year we try to get the best of the best, because you got to make a team. So it's not just you pick your friend. No, this is very competitive, big time, professional, 3-on-3 basketball, the best in the entire world.
And you mentioned Ice Cube. Obviously, this was all his vision. What is it like working with Ice Cube on a day in and day out basis?
Ice Cube is the hardest working guy I know. He's a great guy. He loves basketball. He loves the Big Three. That's why he started it with Jeff Quantnitz, because they thought guys, when they left the NBA, they had a lot left in the tank. Not only do they have a lot left, they still have a lot of passion, and we love to watch them play.
And something that I love about this is my first weekend working with the Big Three, but the fact that Ice Cube, that you're here and you are all very, very involved with this, why is it so important for you to be out here every single week showing up and showing your passion for this sport?
Well, I have to make sure, first of all, our guys are having a good time and they're competing, but also the officials. Well, you know, we got to make sure we get every call right, and we make sure that from the competition side that it's fair for the players. We don't want them to hurt each other. But I tell you what, these guys are so competitive. It's unbelievable.
The level of physicality here is like no other, that's for sure. What is the future? What's the ceiling for the Big Three?
Well, I think the Big Three is still growing. We're going into this is year 3. Hopefully we're going to year 4, 5, and 6. But it gets better and better each and every year. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in year 4.
Neither can I. Thank you so much for joining us. We got much more Big Three action coming your way. The Trilogy facing the Ball Hogs coming up next on CBS Sports Network.
Hawks just can't be stopped.
Cause we taking the summer and displaying the best. It's the Big Three on CBS.
Here in Milwaukee, no shortage of theatrics in the Big Three. Game 1, Brandon Rush caught fire early for the Aliens. 4 first-half threes. But Greg Oden was the big difference. Aliens pick up their 3rd win. In Game 2, the three-headed monsters built a 14-point lead. But ISO Joe, game in his hands, 4-point shot to win it. Triplets now 6-1. 2 games down, 1 more to wrap up this triple header here in Milwaukee. It's Trilogy and the Ball Hogs on CBS Sports Network. It's big, no doubt, for Trilogy in the standings because of what's happened this weekend. If they win, they're at 4 wins and all alone in 3rd. Ball Hogs looking for their first win since last year. And welcome back inside Fiserv Forum. I'm Ed Cohen with Avery Johnson. We're seated now. We were standing. We couldn't believe it. ISO Joe, he does it again.
Ed, that last shot, that game winner by ISO Joe, I think you and I both were almost on the floor. What an amazing shot by ISO Joe. You know, he really kept his team in this game. They got some key contributions, though, from Allen Anderson and Jamario Moon. Both of those guys combined for 20 points. But basically, ISO Joe saved the entire game for the triplets. And give Lisa Leslie a lot of credit for keeping them motivated, even when they were down by double digits.
So triplets now 6-1, all alone in first place. They played 1 more game than Power. They're currently in 2nd. All right, let's transition to game number 3 because for Trilogy, they won 3 in a row. This could be huge for their playoff hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you talk about a team like Trilogy, you know, with a guy like Jason Terry, who I've coached, they're getting hot at the right time. And then the Ball Hogs has just been struggling all season. So Trilogy probably hopes to keep the Ball Hogs, you know, on their downward spiral.
Well, you mentioned the Jet, Jason Terry, the captain of Trilogy, as we look at the rosters presented by State Farm. He's only played 2 games, but he will play here today in the city. He ended his NBA career. And for Trilogy, it's not just Jason Terry, but co-captain James White has been a difference maker.
Yeah, James White is a guy that, you know, has the size of a power forward, but boy, he can handle the ball like a point guard. You know, he's playing confident. He plays with great composure. He basically takes what the defense gives him, and he's a fierce competitor.
Former captain, now coach of Trilogy, Kenyon Martin, former #1 pick, and 15 years in the NBA. He played hard, so did this guy, the Hall of Famer, Rick Barry, 12-time NBA and ABA All-Star. Let's revisit some of the key rules, and let's circle and bold that last one. The 4-point shot, unique to the Big Three, because if any part of your feet are touching one of the 3 circles, it's worth 4 points. Case in point, Joe Johnson for the win.
Can lead to a game winner. Once you get to 46, boy, a 4-point shot can win the game for you. And we've seen some really great shooting exhibitions tonight. You know, guys like Brandon Rush, Joe Johnson, Allen Anderson.
This is week 7 in your Big Three prime. Guys have really been lighting up as of late. Xavier Silas, who just acquired by the Ball Hogs, misses the 3.
And you've seen guys like Greg Oden, who's gotten in better physical shape. His stamina has increased, and he had a big game in game 1.
Oh, they weren't aware of the shot clock. Samardo Samuels wasn't ready for the pass from David Hawkins. Avery Trilogy, winners of 3 in a row under Kenyon Martin. So they begin the game with David Hawkins, one of their co-captains, James White, the other co-captain, and Samardo Samuels, who played at Louisville and some time in the NBA, or just acquired. Here's Will McDonald's jumper off the mark for the Ball Hogs.
Will McDonald was the guy that got off to an extremely hot start. Played in Japan last year.
Silas steps out and drills the 3. Xavier Silas, you know the name well because his father, James, just like you, Avery Johnson, had his number retired by the Spurs.
Wow. I'm shocked, Dad. You knew my jersey was retired, and I never played in an all-star game, didn't really have 3-point range. Why is my number retired in San Antonio?
Miracles happen, my friend. If you say it like that.
If it was the wintertime, you'd just say a miracle on ice.
That's right. Stevenson cleans it up. So we talked about Silas with Stevenson and McDonald out there for the Ball Hogs. And again, they're trying to win their first game since last season.
Yeah, this is a pure pride game, you know, this time of the season. Not you know, a playoff team, but the Ball Hogs, you know, can you suck it up and get your first win of the season?
5-3 Ball Hogs. McDonald's fakes, waits. Here's Silas. Open 3-pointer. Almost hit a second from that spot. James White launches and hits.
You know, Al Thornton, you know, had a pretty good game, even though it didn't lead to victory. He gave the 3-headed monster some energy in game 2, a newly acquired guy, and we'll see if Silas can have an effect on his team the same way, Xavier Silas.
Poked away by Samuels, loose, and put in by Trilogy.
Still had his dad on my mind.
Well, James White, a couple of buckets in a row for Trilogy. And they've answered early 5-0 deficit with the last 8 points.
It's a tough game for the Ball Hogs, especially, you know, playing against a guy like James White. Stevenson, you know, not quite the same size. You know, he probably can post up Stevenson a little bit. Not that he's going to back down. I love Deshaun.
Hawkins drills his second 3. He's been terrific in the Big Three. Last year at Tri-State, that was a big void for Dr. J's team and a welcomed addition for Trilogy. Silas spinorama and gets the friendly bounce.
In our last game, it was easy to try to key on a guy like Joe Johnson. You know where triplets want their offense, but now, you know, with a team like Trilogy, yes, you know, James White, but Also, you can have guys like Jason Terry get it going for you, Carlos Arroyo. It's a matter of whether Kenyon Martin want to play small when he bring those guys off the bench. David Hawkins he's been effective early in the game.
Well, Trilogy's made its last 4 shots, and now it's Samuel's 2-point shot at the line. That is good. So winners of 3 in a row. 13-9 Trilogy with the advantage.
And we talked about James White, but David Hawkins, you go under on the screen and roll, he makes you pay.
Early going, Ice Cube watching as Trilogy leads the Ball Hogs by 4. Check out all about the Big 3 for interviews, recaps, player profiles, and more. New episodes premiere every Thursday right here on CBS Sports Network. Jason Terry, captain of Trilogy, won that title as a sophomore with Arizona, and then in the NBA, played for another great coach. Wow, the stash.
Wow, the mustache. Wow. I need to grow that back, Ed.
And the shadows of Giannis here in Milwaukee. Jason Terry, the Jet, with Jenny Dell.
All right, you last suited up as a member of the NBA in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. What's it like being back here?
You know what, when they called my name to run out for warm-ups, the fans, what a reception. I couldn't ask for more of a reception, and that's all we want out here at the Big 3. We want that hero's welcome, and Milwaukee showed up loud.
Now, of course, we want to see you out there on the court. You actually haven't played since week 2, but you are a vocal leader of this team. How important is it to make sure that you're still really dwelling in that leadership role?
Oh, very important that you're always ready for whatever opportunity presents itself, and I guarantee I'm going to let it fly from 4-point range.
All right, we're hoping to see that tonight. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, Jenny, bold prediction by Jason Terry, but that's what he's all about, right?
Oh, yeah, he definitely has 4-point range. We ran plays for him when he was with us with the Mavericks. It wasn't considered a 4-point play, but he definitely can shoot from anywhere on the floor. The Jet, when he hits the floor, is definitely on the runway.
It's amazing. He guarantees he's going to take a 4-point shot. Before the Mavericks won the title in 2011, he got a tattoo of the Larry O'Brien trophy on his left arm. You talk about selling it and believing. That's bold.
Yeah, we had a great shot at it in 2006. Came up short, but I'm glad Jet had another opportunity to go back and win the championship. He was just such a tremendous competitor. He works, you know, as a basketball coach for his girls team. He works and mentors those kids and coaches those girls, and he has a pretty good team. And, you know, Jet has 5 daughters. So he's got an all-girls basketball team at home.
This is easy in the Big 3. Well, his former teammate in Dallas, Deshaun Stevenson, has made it a 1-point game for the Ball Hogs. White leaner, tough shot. And there is Stevenson with the rebound. Stevenson, Silas, McDonald for the Ball Hogs. Deshaun Stevenson, no look. McDonald pops, can't finish. Hawkins tracks it down.
Yeah, that's a lot of beef inside with Samuels and McDonald.
Hawkins from 4-point range. Stevenson, no one to challenge. Yes, Deshaun Stevenson, 2 in a row from the corner.
It's been a trend all day. Teams that can get hot from the 3-point line, no teams are going to be successful. It just gives you so much more balance, let alone if you can make a 4-pointer like Joe Johnson did in game 2.
Samardo Samuels is going to shoot a 2-point shot. Stevenson, though, has given the Ball Hogs the lead.
Yeah, hustle points by Silas. Got the ball out to wide open Stevenson, and he was successful.
Popular in just about every American city. Here comes Scal, Brian Scalabrine.
No, Scalabrine is popular in every American city, every European city, all over the world, man.
This 2-point shot, second chance, James White.
Let's give the Ball Hogs credit. They've come out and they play with a lot of passion and energy, and they're not backing down. And obviously with the addition of Silas, it's giving them another score. Most games, the only scores for the Ball Hogs have been Stevenson and McDonald. But Silas has given him a tremendous amount of a lift offensively, and now he makes an on-time, on-target pass to Scalabrine.
Scal! White Mamba! Fatheads and all. How about this? 4 consecutive threes for the Ball Hogs, and it's a 21-13 lead. Well, this has been quite a weekend. Week 7 in the Big 3. It began with the excitement yesterday in Chicago. Power rolls behind Maggette. You had Bynum's 33 points, a Big 3 record, and then into today, Avery, here in Milwaukee, triplets, Joe Johnson, 4-point shot to win. But Bynum was amazing yesterday in the Windy City.
Yeah, Bynum, you know, obviously he's not in the MVP conversation like Joe Johnson and Corey Maggette, but boy, he put on a show like he was in the MVP conversation. And I just like, you know, when little guys like Will just play, you know, play the right way, play with tons of energy. They're entertain the crowd. They don't back down. You know, he was physical in that game. And for him to score 33 points and lead his team to victory, that was one of the best individual performances of the season here in the Big 3.
It really shifts the conversation for Bivouac as Terry into the game misses. They won 2 in a row.
Yeah, and last week, you know, I talked to Reggie Diaz. He was really concerned when he didn't play, and now he came back and put on a heck of a performance.
Carlos Arroyo. And there's Silas, another rebound. Knocked down, he travels. Great D by Arroyo. Oh, we talked about Silas joining the Ball Hogs roster. Mustafa Farrakhan never played in the NBA. Last was in the G League, wearing number 2 in white. He comes on for the first time.
Yeah, it's just about trying to get a little bit of a lift at this time of the season and being able to give McDonald and Stevenson a rest.
Oof.
That could be a flagrant
with the takedown.
Foul. Yeah, that could be a flagrant.
Dangerous against Silas. Initial indication looks like a double foul.
Yeah, but that could have been a flagrant.
No doubt.
We talked about my number 6 being retired in San Antonio. I don't think when I was number 6 in the NBA, I committed any flagrant fouls like that.
Not like Quintel Woods.
No, and I think flagrant fouls back when I played, it had to be really excessive.
I feel you. Ed Cohn, Avery Johnson, Jenny Dell with you from Milwaukee. Final game of our triple header. Big 3 on CBS Sports Network. Arroyo trying to break down Scalabrine. Good D by Scal.
Sometimes you can overdo it as a guy handling the ball against a defender that you think you have an advantage on. When you make your move,
whoa, Farrakhan.
Yeah, Arroyo kind of faked himself out against Scalabrine, but Farrakhan did an amazing job of taking the mid-range shot when it was there.
Woods, ankle breaker, but he missed the shot. It's a 14-0 run for the Ball Hogs. Farrakhan had the step, jumps off his back foot, scoop shot's good. Halftime in Milwaukee, and the Ball Hogs by 12.
And look at the Ball Hogs. They're jumping up, giving each other high fives. Farrakhan mid-range shot, step back, and then a drive with the off-leg finish. Normally when you drive in this situation, you want to jump off your right leg and shoot a left-handed reverse layup. But boy, he went off of his left leg, left-handed finish, used the rim to shield off the defense.
Down to Jenny with Xavier Silas.
All right, welcome to the Ball Hogs. First game in here. What kind of impact are you hoping to make? You're already making one out on the court.
Just want to bring a lot of energy. I've been with this team before. I've been watching a little bit. I think if I bring the energy, we'll be all right.
What do you think of the level of competition in this game?
It's light. It's light, and we should be able to finish out strong.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, Jenny, thanks. Xavier Silas and the Ball Hogs, they closed the first half on a 16-0 run. It's a lead over Trilogy here on CBS Sports Network. Great city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At the break, Ball Hogs by 12 over Trilogy. And Cohen, Avery Johnson back at Pfizer Forum. Wow, Ball Hogs winless so far this year. What got into them? A 16-0 run to close that first half.
Yes, and the Ball Hogs, they've just been looking for a sign, a spark, something just to give them hope that they can win a game, and it's been Xavier Silas tonight. He's been incredible.
Hope reigns in the form of three-point shots. There were many, 5 in all, made by the Ball Hogs in that first half.
Yep, and whenever you can make shots from the three-point line, it just gives you more options. Here's Silas, you know, Deshaun Stevenson, we know he can make a three, and then Scal got into the action. Scalabrini.
Here are the numbers, a big boost from beyond the arc for the Ball Hogs, and Stevenson with 10 points. How does Trilogy get back in it? Jenny Dell with Kenyon Martin.
Coach, you're down 12 at the half. What went wrong in this first half?
Effort, lack thereof.
I noticed that you didn't say much to your team during halftime. What's your message to them? Is it when you take a step back, they need to just work it out within themselves?
Yeah, I'm not out there playing, I'm saying, so it's out of my control at this point. I'm saying we had a game plan coming in, they're not following it, so it's on them to dig themselves out of this hole.
All right, thanks. Hope to turn it around for you, Coach. Thank you very much.
See how it goes.
All right, Jenny, Kenyon Martin's a guy who, when he won a title with Trilogy 2 years ago as a player, you saw the tears streaming down his face. He takes this so seriously, he's got to eat at him to see what his team did in that first half.
Yes, and you know, Jenny did a great job with that interview. You know, he wasn't happy, he's not amused, he wasn't smiling. He basically was staring at the basket. He never shared anything with his team at halftime. He didn't talk about any adjustments. I watched him the entire halftime. He's not a happy man right now. He talked about their game plan coming in. I'm sure that was part of the game plan, to get the ball of White on the box because he has a size advantage. So we'll see if his lack of communication with his team at halftime is going to spark some more energy or more effective basketball.
A Ball Hogs 3 to shoot. Blocked away and a foul on Hawkins. Tried to deny Xavier Silas, and they blow the whistle. 2-point shot coming up for Silas.
I think that was a clean block. Kenyon Martin, Coach Kenyon Martin has a right to be upset with that play. Thought that was a clean block. Sometimes offensive players, you know, they can be actors, you know, and maybe win, you know, an Oscar or something in a movie, because they can get very demonstrative. And
call those summer blockbusters.
Yeah.
Might make a dent in the award season. Samuel's calling for it. Hits it on the assist from David Hawkins. So 16-0 run entering halftime for the Ball Hogs, but Trilogy is within 8.
I see that. Ball Hogs colors, one of their colors is green. I think, was it the Green Book?
Now that is A stuff. That's as good as it gets. Pull-up jumper, off glass and good. Farrakhan is giving some juice to the Ball Hogs coming off the bench.
I'm not sure if Trilogy, led by Coach Kenyon Martin, really talked a lot about these guys on their scouting report. You know, Silas and Farrakhan Jr.
Clock coming down, got to launch.
This looked like a D'Angelo Russell shot. Guy who signed in the offseason with the Golden State Warriors after having a really nice year with the Nets last year.
Samuels gets it to go. Samuels added this week. Both Farrakhan and Silas added this week by the Ball Hogs. So 3 of the 6 guys on the floor weren't with their teams before this weekend. McDonald rolls and scores.
We talked about it, you know, in our last game. You know, who can make the right decision in a pick and roll situation? And especially if it's 3-on-3. You know, you get double teamed, then you're playing 2 against 1.
David Hawkins is trying to carry Trilogy back, and here they are down 7.
Yeah, he may have to have a Joe Johnson impersonation this game and try to do it all by himself, or get some help from White.
Silas too much, never hit the rim. White fakes. Samuels. It's a big man, just missed. Farrakhan. This will go back to Trilogy.
In that position where Samuels where he was underneath the basket, a lot of really great rebounders, they rebound air balls.
Yeah.
And that's an easy way to get a quick basket. You got to know when to box out and make contact and when to release that contact, retrieve the air ball, and then go up and score. It's a skill to it.
That's in any game, especially in Big 3,
especially
right?
in Big 3. Since, you know, we're only playing that one basket.
Stevenson, a couple of nifty moves. Hawkins not biting. 3 to shoot, long range, short. Offensive board, Stevenson, a 3 again. Look at McDonald crashing, but could not keep it in. He's a great story, though. Will McDonald, out of South Florida, never played in the NBA, 15 years overseas. Hawkins short.
You know what Will McDonald's hometown?
Give it to me.
New Orleans.
That's right. Just like the guy to my right.
Yes.
We'll get a timeout. Rick Barry's team, remember, a 16-0 run to close the first half, but Trilogy has opened this second half on an 11-4 run.
Well, Kenyon Martin probably sent the message to his team by not even talking to him. Sometime as a coach, you have to know what voices to use with your team. Your intense voice, sometime your disappointed voice, your teaching voice, or no voice at all. But these two guys here, Silas and Farrakhan Jr., they've given the Ball Hogs a huge lift for Coach Rick Barry. Sometimes it can be a long season for you as a coach when you haven't had success, especially when you're winless.
It's got to be really rewarding for not just Mustafa Farrakhan, never played in the NBA, but Xavier Silas, he played a grand total of 4 NBA games. He made his debut here in Milwaukee, across the street at the old Bradley Center, played for the Sixers late April of 2012. That was the lockout year, and played 2 more games further down in his career 2 years ago at Boston. It's like a moonlight grab of the NBA. Silas takes a hard spill, and White cleans up the miss.
Yeah, look at the energy. It's a tale of 2 halves for Trilogy. When you're coming into a game, and let's face it, they were a huge favorite coming into this game. Sometimes it's easier to play as an underdog rather than as an overwhelming favorite.
McDonald missed that shot, and there was nobody who even challenged for the rebound.
It'd be interesting to see if the Ball Hogs can maintain their intensity. Great steal by Hawkins.
Samuels, fall away, got it. And just like that, Trilogy has taken a 30-29 lead.
I don't see a smile on Trilogy's face after they score a point. The bench is celebrating a little bit, but now they're taking on the personality of their coach.
Day of comebacks here in Milwaukee. Stevenson. And there's Hawkins for the board.
Becoming harder and harder for the Ball Hogs to score.
15-4 Trilogy run. Offensive foul. Samuels on the screen. Decks Silas.
Yeah, if Samuels had to do it all over again, he would get the car, what we call it, get the car parked in the garage. Come to a 2-foot jump stop and stop. Don't move. When you get to the end of the garage, if you continue to move, you're going to run into the wall.
You tell that to a Jersey kid, played for Danny Hurley in high school, played for Rick Pitino at Louisville. That's a tough customer.
Yeah.
Stevenson tucks it, gets it back. It was never deflected. And a traveling call on the Ball Hogs.
Great call, great call. You know, let's give these officials credit.
Yep.
It's tough. When, you know, being a referee in the Big 3 is a physical league. These games are intense, especially during this time of the season. Wins and losses are significantly magnified because of the standings and the playoff implications.
Here's White.
It's a tough job, Ed.
A loose ball foul. David Posner, the crew chief, with Brent Stanford and Chad Beswick today. And for those who are new to the Big Three, as we take a look at the foul underneath.
Yeah, Stevenson did a nice job of boxing out. Swim move by Samuels.
It's like the traveling roadshow. Players, coaches, officials, Ice Cube, and those with the league from one city to the next.
Yeah.
It's a summer tour.
I'm glad you mentioned Ice Cube, man. That's called job security. I was waiting for you to get to Ice Cube.
We're going to make it to Miami next week.
Yes.
Here's McDonald's. Plays to the contact. It's going the other way.
Yep. Good
The
call.
Ball Hogs bench can't believe it.
Yeah, back-to-back really good calls. McDonald basically displaced the defense with his right shoulder. Here, that's a foul. That's putting the defense at a significant disadvantage.
7th Ball Hogs turnover. Hawkins, he's got a real cool, calm, collected part of his game. He's got 14 now. McDonald fakes. Samuels drawn it loose. Right place, right time for Hawkins.
And now we're at a point in the game because of the lack of success that the Ball Hogs have had. One, you got to think about Silas, you know, stamina and conditioning. Can he continue to have an impact on the game offensively since he hadn't played and he just was acquired? Message received by the Trilogy and specifically Hawkins on this play from his coach, Kenyon Martin.
Hawkins gets a much-deserved breather. Trilogy's begun this half on a 20-4 run. Ball Hogs down 5. Here's Silas.
Again, when we talk about coaching, it's decisions on substitutions, and give Kenyon Martin credit. You know, he's resting White and Hawkins right now because I think in the next dead ball situation, you're going to see both of those guys return to the game because they're going to need them to finish this game. I don't anticipate the team that they have on the floor right now will be their finishing team.
Saw the fathead. Scala's in. Ryan Scalabrini can't fight through the screen, and Woods on a nicely executed screen drills it off the bounce.
And this is just buying time for Kenyon Martin to rest his guys.
White Mamba on the drive. Never hit the rim. Samuels and one. He's got a chance at 3. I don't think he realized that if it doesn't hit the rim, you could go right back up. It works in his favor.
Yes, and that was a bad decision. Stevenson should have continued to make a move on Arroyo in the post, but yeah, I don't know why, you know, in that situation, Stevenson, keep the ball. You have a better matchup with a much smaller Arroyo on you, and he made a decision to pass the ball to Scalabrini, and they weren't successful.
Here in Milwaukee, big comeback from Trilogy. They lead by 7. Inside Fiserv Forum, Trilogy's come back. They lead the Ball Hogs by 7. Don't forget to follow the Big Three across all your favorite social media platforms. A lot of great action today here in Wisconsin. Time for our Barstool Sports Moment of the Day. Avery Johnson, a little block party from Greg Oden.
Yeah, Greg Oden blocked that shot all the way to Kohler, Wisconsin, man. I played golf on a Father's Day trip in Kohler, and that's where Greg Oden blocked that shot. Course called Whistling Straits. The only thing I remember is I parred 18. Don't ask me about the first 17 holes.
So you manage the sand. There's
Yeah.
a lot of it. You always bring it back to the links.
Yes, and there's no, you can't use a golf cart on Whistling Straits. You gotta walk. But great view of Lake Michigan.
Well, great to be in the Midwest. 2 terrific days. Week 7 of the Big Three. Yesterday in Chicago. Here today in Milwaukee.
Boy, and I know we talked about it earlier, but what a performance by Will Bynum.
33, a Big Three record in his hometown. Big win for Big Whack in the Windy City. Look out, Samuels down the lane. You could see it coming from a mile, and the foul is called.
For the referee's sake, I'm glad they called the foul on that, because Kenyon Martin was almost at the 4-point line on the court, running on the floor out of his seat. You can see it a little bit there in the background as he started to enter the court.
Remember, he just joined the team. He's given them a really nice spark today. Samuels now with 11 after hitting that 2-point shot. And Trilogy, a 28-6 run to begin this half. They lead by 8.
I guess Kenyon Martin has a lot of confidence in this lineup that's on the floor, because he's still resting White and Hawkins.
Arroyo, pull up. Scalabrini. McDonald launches and hits a 3.
What a beautiful left-handed hook pass by Scalabrini.
He was inspired by the fatheads in that corner.
Yeah, and he, they made a 3 early in the game to give him a little bit of confidence. I told Scal I'm still waiting for him to get, double figures in the game. I want to see him score double figures in the game before the Big 3 season is over.
He's got 3 today. Thought about it. Entry, McDonald denied, but a foul. Quintel Woods.
2 outstanding passes by Scalabrini. So the first pass, he drives baseline, reads the defense. Nice, what we call a left-handed hook pass. McDonald's ready to shoot. And then, he puts the ball on the floor again and makes a short pass to McDonald inside. And now he gets a rest. That's his reward.
Talked to Rick Barry after the game. Fact is, he has scored 18 points already this year with that 3 earlier. Had 19 points, Scalabrini, all of last year. So this would be a big step for a guy who's playing in his 3rd season. Ball Hogs, remember, a 16-0 run to close the first half. They led by 12, but they're 4 of 16 from the floor since halftime. And Hawkins and Trilogy continue to knock it down.
And this is what we were talking about. When is Coach Kenyon Martin going to get Hawkins and White back in the game? He pulls the trigger, gets Hawkins back in the game and White, and Hawkins was successful right off the bench making a 3-point shot. Hawkins said, I know Vinnie Johnson was the microwave coming off the bench for the Detroit Pistons doing their 2 championship season, but Coach, you can put me in and I can have the same type of success.
Vinnie Johnson, I think, gets a reference in every basketball broadcast, and for good reason.
He also gets a reference when I meet certain fans around the country. A lot of fans think he's my brother. Like, hey, that's Vinnie Johnson, brother. No,
Vinny and Avery.
Maybe in another lifetime.
The
or in the
backyard
movie.
battles.
Yeah, in the movie.
Step Brothers.
Vinny and Avery.
There you go. Ed Cohen, Avery Johnson, Jenny Dell, our great CBS Sports Network crew. Big 3 in Milwaukee. And the capper to a great triple header right now. Missed shot, Samuels the rebound. Fall away. Was that a pass? Was it a shot?
I think that was a missed shot.
That's a little better.
And that's a made shot. I don't think the big guy was trying to pass that ball. It just slipped out of his hand. And you're right, it's good to have Jenny with us this week.
Yes. A Jenny Dell doubleheader, Chicago and Milwaukee, as Silas hits it. Trilogy trying to win their 4th straight game. 4 points away.
I am so impressed with Trilogy's focus in this second half.
Oh, Samuels. 16 points, point game for Trilogy, and boy, did this happen fast.
Wow. He's getting off the sofa. He said, I've been rested and ready. What a great addition.
Look at Kmart. Leaving the benches with the fans.
I told you he almost came on the court. Now he left the bench because I think he told him not to foul. And coaches love when players do exactly what you ask them to do. Don't foul. But right now, Trilogy is clearly in the driver's seat, only needing 1 point to win. And the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over. Yeah.
here since halftime. Trilogy has outscored the Ball Hogs 35-13. Point game indeed.
It's a massive swing.
Pull-up jumper. Still life. Silas.
Looks like Silas and Farrakhan Jr. They've run out of gas a little bit. They came out with a ton of energy. Just haven't been able to make enough shots in the second half.
Timeout, Rick Barry. Jason Terry, who ended his NBA career in Milwaukee, was starting to get the crowd going, point game. And now the Ball Hogs are going to get a timeout.
He's not only gotten the crowd going, this is a great example of a professional basketball player. In whatever league, we're in the Big Three, but a professional basketball player in Jason Terry that he's not contributing on the court, but he's helping on the bench.
Let's look at the playoff picture. Who is at the time in? We have 2 more weeks to go in the regular season. Triplets get to 6-1 today. Trilogy on the verge of victory. Those are the top 4 for now. Bivouac, enemies, Ghost Ballers on the tails of the top 4.
Yeah, and watch out on this list for Bivouac. They're in the hunt. And I think that, you know, they're a team that if they can sneak into the playoffs, they could very well win it all.
No doubt. 12,912 here at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee.
And we know Power and Triplets is going to have a lot to say about it.
Yes. Power 5-1, Triplets now 6-1. Ball Hogs retain the ball after the made free throw. Silas Leader off the mark. Trilogy, chance to win it.
He's begging his team, no foul.
Oh, Samuels denied by McDonald's. Not over yet. Stevenson drills the 3, 6-point game.
And this, Ed, we've been talking about this every week. You're never out of a game in the Big Three.
Just ask Joe Johnson. Hawkins fakes, offloads for the win. Trilogy's got it. James White, goodbye Milwaukee. Trilogy a winner over the Ball Hogs.
We said Kenyon Martin was going to put his closers back in the game. Hawkins and White. Hawkins comes off the bench, makes the 3 from the left corner, and now he feeds his teammate for a game winner in the right corner. 2 of the easiest 3s in basketball.
Just a massive second half, 38-18 for Trilogy after the break, and this wins it.
And it's all about reading defenses. Hawkins, what an unselfish play. That I'm going to create a shot. 2 guys are converging on me on defense, and I'm going to make an on-time, on-target pass to my teammate. And then White waves bye-bye to the Ball Hogs and to the fans here in Milwaukee.
Scout meeting his biggest fans. James White ends it. Jason Terry, little fist bump for his former coach, Avery Johnson.
Yeah, he's always showing me the love.
Let's go to Jenny Dell with some members of Trilogy.
All right, we're going to start with David Hawkins over here. After starting the season 0-2, you're able to win the last 4 in a row. What has changed in this team?
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for making this all possible. And we changed our mentality. The first 2 games, we played a little timid. We were trying to get to know each other. We put in some plays, and we basically, you know, we was faced the reality that we go 0-3, it's pretty much done for the playoffs. So we flipped the switch, and thank God we was able to get some wins.
You also flipped a switch on this game. It was like the tale of 2 halves out there. What changed in the halftime chat? Because I know that Coach wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we just said, we stayed calm and said, you know, we pretty much knew our effort wasn't there. We had to change that, first of all, on the defensive end, giving this team a lot of open 3s. And we knew this game wasn't going to be easy despite their record. You know, they had nothing to lose. We have almost everything to lose. We have to win out to secure the playoffs. So they fought hard, but I'm happy with our team's effort to get the win in the end.
That's a great effort. Now we're going to talk to this guy over here, James White. So thank you so much for joining me. You got the last shot of the game. You got the game winner out there. It was really 2 different teams, it looked like, going into this game. What made you guys so effective in the second half?
Maybe we took them a little light, even though we said we wasn't. and we came out and our effort wasn't good enough. I had a couple plays where I didn't get out the shooters, let Deshaun hit a couple jumpers, and I think our effort picked up the second half because our sense of urgency picked it up. So I think that was what it was.
You're the only returning player on this team. How difficult is that to start over with a new team each year, but really come out here and play as one?
Oh, it's difficult for all the new teams because the rules are so different. Getting used to playing this way is different. You seen Samata, here's his first game today. He played well, he played great, but there's some things he needs to tweak once he gets used to playing. So it's different playing with new players and getting used to playing with each other.
Now you've won 4 in a row. What's the ceiling for this team? Where are you guys going to end up this year?
I mean, we're dangerous, man. I think right now we're just on the roll. We're ready to go, so, you know.
What are we showing? Okay, what do we got here?
B1. That's what got us through the second half. That's the energy that gave us the second half right there.
I think I'm going to need one of those. Can I get one? All right, congratulations. Great job. Thank you. Guys, back to you. I'm going to get a patch.
Jenny, go get the patch. Trilogy, 4 consecutive wins, capping a big day in Milwaukee. Lot to recap when we return here on CBS Sports Network. Final game here in Milwaukee. It's Trilogy over the Ball Hogs here on Fiserv Forum. Ed Cohen back with Avery Johnson. So 3 more games to cap a big weekend in the Midwest. We had the heroics again of Joe Johnson. A huge win for Trilogy and maybe the hopes dashed for Three's Company in trying to get to the playoffs.
And we talked about it pre-game. Today was a doomsday for some teams because if you hit that 4-loss threshold, you're probably out of it. Because the top 4 teams, they're going to probably have 3 losses or less. And when you're talking about teams like Power, Triplets, those teams are leading the way into the playoffs.
Avery, let's check it out, the standings. Remember, 2 more weeks to go in the regular season in the Big 3. So Trilogy, in beating the Ball Hogs, all alone in 3rd. Triplets with the heroics from Joe Johnson in 1st place. Ball Hogs come up empty in the close to this triple header. This was the biggest highlight, Joe Johnson in the comeback win against the 3-headed Monsters.
Triplets got off to another slow start. They've been known for slow starts, except last week in Salt Lake City. But this was a game where they needed Joe to be Batman. And he was Batman because he didn't have many Robins to help him out. Allen Anderson made some key shots for him to help him. But what an incredible shot by ISO Joe.
Yes. Triplets 6-1, Power half game behind. Trilogy is right there. The killer threes. They have work to do because Bivouac, enemies, Ghost Ballers are also in the hunt.
Yeah, I think those top 3 teams, I think they're secure in the playoffs, Triplets, Power, and Trilogy. But I'm looking for Bivouac to sneak into the playoffs.
Will Bynum, 33 points yesterday in Chicago, his hometown, a Big 3 record. How about the Aliens? They get the win today. They have a chance at a 500 season in their expansion year in the Big 3. Three's Company, their 3-game win streak dashed here today in Milwaukee. Next week, the road show continues to South Florida. In Miami, it'll be the Trilogy and Ghost Ballers to lead it off, followed by 3-headed Monsters and the Enemies. We'll see if Gilbert Arenas is back. Power and Tri-State to close. Avery, Power with Corey Maggette, they continue to roll.
Yeah, I think the big storyline here is Power. And, you know, Cuttino Mobley, you know, he's going to be healthy, he's ready to go. Early in the season, he carried the team, and now Corey Maggette's carrying them. So it'll be interesting because if you can get both of those guys on the floor, both Mobley and, you know, Cuttino Mobley, who's a co-captain for their team, and Nancy Lieberman, again, she's doing a really nice job with her team, and Big Baby inside.
Final thoughts on today. Obviously, the Joe Johnson game winner and some big comebacks here in Milwaukee.
Well, I think the final thought is Kenyon Martin. You know, his lack of a halftime speech with his team. No halftime speech. He basically ignored them, and Trilogy responded. They finished the game at a high level.
4 straight wins for Trilogy. They take care of business here against the Ball Hogs today in Milwaukee. That is it from the Cream City for the Big 3. So for Avery Johnson, Jenny Dell, our entire CBS crew, I'm Ed Cohen. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. After these messages, you'll see $1 Million Mile as we say goodnight from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.